So, how have you been doing lately?
To be honest, I haven't been doing so well. I just really miss being in a relationship with somebody.
Excuse me, I need to take this call.
Oh my god. Safety in numbers, my dear.
So, is there anyone else in this house?
The cop! He's not here!
Wait, what happened? Who is it?
He's not here! He's not there!
What happened?
He's not here!
What happened? Who is it?
Mr. Body's body! It's gone!
Please!
He's not here!
Wait, who is it? Where's the body?
Stop!
Quiet on the set. Keep going.
Action! Sorry, go ahead.
Action! Action!
Okay.
Why are you recording?
We're trying to find out who killed him, where, and with what.
Okay, wait. I'm sorry.
So it's like, well, let
Colonel Lynette.
we were just saying.
Meow. 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 Meow.
Well, looks like everyone's here. This is Mrs. Peacock.
That's not me.
Mrs. Peacock was a man? Mrs. Peacock was a man? Would anyone care?
Alright.
Gentlemen, turn out your pockets, and ladies, empty your purses. Whoever has the gun is the murderer.
Alright! It was me!
Alright, get out! Somebody set it up!
Potato! Potato! Get out of here! Get out of here! Tell everyone what you see! Potato!
Not as surprised as you're going to be,
Mom?
man.
Oh, we're rotating. Okay.
We're rotating.
See, look, this isn't shaky at all. The belly's gonna go. Oh, this looks good.
Okay, then go. Ian, over here.
Okay.
Good call.
What do you do? We have to escape. He's coming to kill me today.
I didn't say action.
Okay, ready?
Be chilling with,
Hitler.
That's not him. Okay, go. I have had it up to here with your nonsense. Get off.
Action. Yo!
How dare you? How dare you say that to me? You don't know what it's like. Him, he's a bad guy. He is a bad guy. You know what he did? I can't even explain what he did. Please, someone's gonna die here. It's gonna be you.
Guys, I'm only getting videos of you guys laughing.
I'm ready this time.
Action.
We have to escape.
You didn't wait 2 seconds.
There is no escape.
Okay, go.
We have to escape.
I know we do.
There is no escape.
Oh my god.
There is no escape. There is no hope. There is only Zool.
Take my hand.
But no, you're supposed to take my hand because I have no idea.
Do you know what?
Excuse me, miss. You wouldn't.
Say quieter. Quieter. Shh. Action.
You wouldn't. You wouldn't.
Wouldn't.
Okay, alright. You wouldn't.
No.
You wouldn't. You wouldn't. Cindy, can I talk to you in the hallway room?
Actually, she's. Sit here. Sit here.
I failed.
Cut. Let go. Okay, now bring it back. Okay, that was. Bring it back now. Smack! Bring it back.
Yes. Yeah.
Action. Oh no, wait.
I call action.
But you called it too early though.
Well, that means you hit the button and then she can.
Well, how am I supposed to? Never.
Just stop.
Cut.
But it's all okay. I've been able to pay back the money for the blackmail for the most part.
Okay, we're starting. Okay. Okay, everyone. Okay.
You guys are not fun.
Okay.
I feel like you're crying.
You ready for your line?
I'm trying not to.
Ready? Action. Look at her. Your radio parts, but you sold them on the black market. Not only did you steal essential helicopter radio parts, but you sold them on the black market.
Oh.
It's like, oh.
But I want it to be long.
No, please.
2, 3.
Action.
Actually, I
Oh, that was
can
weird.
start.
Action.
All right.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Colin.
Action.
Intense reactions, guys. Keep saying that. Go. A lot of noise.
Oh my god!
Wait. You're not saying anything because you say stop. Do it again. Ready? Go.
Oh my gosh! Oh my gosh!
Wait, don't say all. Don't all say. Oh my god.
Okay. Ready? Set. Go.
Stop! The police are coming!
What?
Yes!
That's what we're supposed to do though!
Emily was about to run.
Why did you slap me?
Why wouldn't I stop you? Look! Look!
Oh, I need a drink.
Maybe he was poisoned!
Jeez. Oh. 1, 2, 3, go.
Looks like it's you and me, honey bunch. Looks like it's you and me, honey bunch.
Oh god.
Looks like it's you and me, honey bunch.
Oh god.
Looks like it's you and me, honey bunch.
Oh god.
Looks like it's you and me, honey bunch.
Oh god.
Help! god.
Oh, we heard a gun.
I think I heard the front door slam.
Okay. Your line.
I think I heard that.
It's like that epic moment, and I was like,
There a bag of salt crystals, yo.
I knew there was going down.
Bloopers, you really didn't think I was in this? Why? Why is this happening?
Oh, do come in.
What the hell was that?
Dinner will be ready by 7:30. What are you doing? What's in there?
Oh, I just.
Oh my god.
Ah!
What? Falling.
well, let's go. Pause. We're not done yet.
Quiet on the set. Stand by. Slate in.
Scene 7, take 1.
Action. I think that viewers who watch Clue should really realize that there's so many levels of work that get put into it.
The amount of stress you were under due to time issues.
There was one night we didn't get anywhere near what we needed to get done.
There were a lot of incidences during filming. I had a migraine one night and I couldn't go on. This experience meant that I would have to give up a lot of stuff.
You never really know what goes on behind the scenes when you're watching a video. It all looks like it comes together really easily, when it really doesn't, and a lot of people have to put in a lot of work.
I'm just kind of trying.
He'd tell me which lines he wanted me to memorize, and then he'd lock me in the room. It was really hard.
Guys, people, listen. I'm trying to get them to be quiet.
We're never gonna get this movie done if this is the way it goes. Hi, I'm Tommy Flynn, the director and producer of Clue, and I'm here today with a behind-the-scenes look on the production of the movie. We interviewed each of the cast and crew members about their experience, so let's see what they had to say.
My favorite part of this experience was probably just filming a movie, which isn't something you get to do a lot.
My favorite part of this experience was becoming such close friends and forming such strong bonds with all the other actors and actresses.
My favorite part of this experience was, instead of wasting a Friday or Saturday night doing nothing, I could be doing something productive and filming Clue.
My favorite part of this experience was probably becoming completely engaged with my character and just becoming my character, and communicating with the other characters through my character was something that I really liked.
My favorite part of the experience is probably learning like the different shots, the words like action, cut, quiet on set.
My favorite part of the experience was, I think, the filming process, because I do a lot of theater around Baltimore and I don't really get a chance anymore to do any film work, so it's a nice change from my normal routine.
My favorite part of this experience was probably really just being in the movie, because I've never been in a real movie before.
My favorite part of this experience was being able to play the only character who sang in Clue.
My favorite part of this experience was working with all the amazing, talented people that worked together to make this dream a reality.
My favorite part of this experience was being the director and being in charge of everything that happens, because even though it's like a lot of power, and if you make some little mistakes, you know, it can reflect in the film somehow. But it was just something that I really wanted to do because it was like my vision for the movie, and if anyone else was in charge, it wouldn't turn out the way I wanted it to. So that's why I really enjoyed being the director.
Sam says hi.
Sam who?
Bolan's.
He might be in Clue.
I don't.
You better. Who's
Yeah,
in the play?
the butler, the main part.
He is.
The casting is actually one of the hardest parts. It's the beginning part that really you have to put a lot of thought and time into it, because you might be making contact with someone for a long time, but then they end up not being in the film. which is what happened in Clue.
What I did before we started filming was I had each of the cast members, the lead roles, over one-on-one, so if I didn't know them, I could get to know them a little better and then work with them and see where they are in their, character analyzation and understanding what's going on and their, being prepared for what's going to come next. And I think it was really good. It was good doing that because I got to see how they were saying some of the lines, and I got to give them coaching one-on-one instead of being there at filming when everyone's there and trying to give advice and then being under pressure.
To me, it kind of looks like, you're just having kind of a down day. Like, it's like, and then the pills really show, like, the struggle. Like, do you think you understand what you're doing? Because otherwise it looks great.
I don't know. I'm just kind of trying, but I don't know if I'm succeeding or not.
Never done anything like that.
I remember I would coach Sammy Paradise and Caroline Diaz because we were going to a school to film that scene, and we had limited time because the people were only there for a certain amount of time, so we had to practice it all beforehand. We couldn't show up the day and not know what we're doing. So we practiced that a lot, and I was giving them advice, and it worked out really well because then the filming ran a lot more smoothly.
Start from when you say, okay, I guess so, or whatever.
Well, okay. Well, I guess you're right. Here. Hi, my name's Kelly Meter, and I'm the production manager for Clue. I was also the production manager for Narnia. I work mostly behind the scenes with Tommy on coordinating all the actors' schedules as well as the premiere. With Narnia, Tommy needed my help more in the middle of the filming process, whereas in the beginning he was getting the script together and getting all the details, and I came in every week and during the middle of the process and helped him do a lot of coordinating with the actors' schedules, because that was very difficult to coordinate everybody's schedules. Whereas with Clue, I needed to help Tommy more in the beginning, just coordinating schedules from the beginning, whereas in the middle of the filming process. And Tommy's really been taking care of a lot. So I feel like with Clue, it was more of hands-off and helping towards the beginning. My first time planning a premiere with Narnia, we looked at a lot of different places. I remember I was a big part of that process. And of course, the fire hall we thought about, that would be Summit Manor would be the perfect venue because it's keeping within the community. And then I also contacted the North County News. I know some people through the North County News, and we got an article talking about Narnia. So it was really cool having it in Hereford, where a lot of the actors, were from anyways, and went to school out in those areas in northern Baltimore County, having the premiere there and bringing everybody together in the community. So that was a big challenge. And then now it's kind of nice because we have this great venue for Clue, so I don't have to worry about that as much, but it was a lot of planning going into finding the venue. My past experiences with productions started actually directing. About 4 years ago, I started directing with the 7th District Rec Program, and I met a lot of the actors who are in this film through that, and many of them are my voice students. So production managing and directing are, there's a lot of similarities between the two. So I've learned how to piece together a show, a movie, casting, a lot of different elements are very similar. Some of my students and people who I've worked with professionally in Tommy's movie include Mrs. White, Olivia Diaz, who worked behind the scenes, Sydney, Yvette, The Singing Telegram, and Mrs. Peacock, and of course I've worked with Tommy as well. So it's really amazing to see how all these actors have just progressed and flourished, and I'm very excited.
My prior experience in film has been as a director of photography in Tommy's previous movie, Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe from the Chronicles of Narnia, and that has been a great experience as well. Although I have to say, Clue was definitely a great improvement from Narnia.
Some of my past experiences in acting are in Tommy's last movie, I was Lucy in Narnia, The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe. I also just came off of Cats being Skimbleshanks, and Bagheera in Jungle Book. I've also been the Cheshire Cat in Alice in Wonderland, the baker in Beauty and the Beast, and lots of other shows.
My past acting experiences prior to Clue were like 4 plays from 7th District. I was in Beauty and the Beast, I was a silly girl. In Alice in Wonderland, I was Petunia. In Mulan, I was Grandma Fa, and most recently I was Pocahontas in Pocahontas and Grandma Willow. And I also did 2 plays through my middle school. I was Anita in West Side Story, and I was Grace in Annie.
My past experience in acting prior to Clue include plays at Riderwood Elementary School, The Wizard of Oz, and The Emperor's New Clothes. And for 2 years I did the Young Filmmakers Workshop Camp with Steve Yeager with Tommy, and we filmed 2 short films.
Well, my past experiences prior to Clue, I'm on a nature show called Aqua Kids, and we travel around the world and learn all about the aquatic and marine habitats. It's not my main thing though. I'm also in a band, and we play all over Baltimore. And also I do a lot of commercials and stuff like that.
Well, I haven't been in another movie before, but I've done other theatrical productions such as Annie, Seussical, Cats, Charlie Brown. Those are just a couple.
All my past experiences in acting have been in theater involving plays such as Frankenstein, Seussical, and lots of stage crew.
My past experience, I've been in Annie Jr., Seussical, I've been in Peter Pan, I've been in multiple scenes and skits and plays at my school, George Washington Carver Center for Arts and Technology. And in that school, I specialize in theater.
My past experiences in acting prior to Clue where I did the Young Filmmakers Workshop with Steve Yeager at the Park School for 3 years, and that's how I met Tommy. And I've also done work with Tommy on Narnia, the film he did. I've done the Pumpkin Theater Musical Theater Conservatory for 3 years, and they've done The Pajama Game and Into the Woods and Legally Blonde there. I think I'm on my 5th season there.
My past experiences in acting start about in 1st grade when I was a troll in the Chronicles of Narnia, and most recently I was Monkeystrap in Cats, and that was a really fun role to be. I've also had a lot of experience with filmmaking. I have been taking video classes for the past 5 years at Summer Stock Performing Arts Camp, but it's not as serious as this was, and that's something that I really liked about this, was the professional feel of this.
My past experiences prior to the movie were I was Maurice in Beauty and the Beast at Hereford High School. I was a flower. I was Lily in Alice in Wonderland. I was Peppermint Patty in You're a Good Man, Charlie Brown. I was Mary in Our Christmas Pageant.
My past experiences in acting prior to Clue are I was Edmund in Narnia, which was Tommy's first film, and then I was also in numerous plays.
My past experiences in acting prior to Clue have included being in theatrical performances at Gemini and Boys Latin and doing film work with Steve Yeager at Fifth Wall.
The hardest part about my job probably would be as the director when you're trying to basically take your vision and put it onto the screen, because that's really hard because only you know what you want, so you have to be very articulate to everyone, not just like the actors but also anyone who's helping you behind the scenes. And it's just really difficult, especially when it doesn't turn out as you want and unexpected things happen. And also what's difficult about this movie was that many people were all in the same room at the same time, and so directing all of them and talking to people individually in situations like that was really hard, especially with all the noise and stuff. So that was a really difficult part, because also I had to think about, did I forget anything? Did I not cover a shot? Did I screw up a continuity or something like that? Like, was something there in one take and then not there the next take? Things like that I had to worry about, and that can be really stressful after filming. Also, editing the movie was a big part of my job. I had to spend literally 2 whole weeks of the summer all day just editing inside, and luckily it was not very good weather that week anyway, so I didn't have much of a choice. But I really do love editing, even though that's the part that most people really like dread when they're trying to make a movie. It's honestly probably my favorite part of movie making, because that's where the raw footage becomes this actual movie, and I really love that part. My best memory of Clue filming was the third night when we filmed the kitchen scene and the scene in the study after they found the cook's body and they were trying to figure out what to do. The reason that was my favorite night was because that was the first time where we actually got everything that I wanted to done completely, and I realized that we would actually get the movie done. I didn't have that confidence the first 2 nights. I honestly didn't. And after the third night, I was like, this is gonna work. By now the cast is really bonded and they're working together really well, and I kind of have down my director's mode, so I knew exactly what to do for the rest of it, and it was just, it kind of went a little more smoothly from there, even though there were rough patches along the way. And looking back on that night, it's like, I knew, I could see ahead that we would get it done, and we did.
My favorite memory was probably the day we did the rock, paper, scissors shoot game, because it was really intense and it was just really funny, like watching Ian said a line about like, it's you and me, honey bunch, and that was really funny.
My best memory of filming Clue was the third night when the girls, which was Lizzie Peace, Sarah Flynn, and Emily Arnold, they offered to help me with my makeup, and that was the first night anybody offered anything or really talked to me more than the nights before. And it just made me feel like I was accepted and actually part of the group. And another time was probably the scene where I dropped the glass and screamed. It was really fun, and we all had no idea I was going to drop the glass. And just dropping the glass and looking up and seeing everybody just go was actually pretty hilarious.
My favorite memory was definitely when we were all running outside when Tommy was filming the very ending when the cops came out. But Sarah's mom came out with blankets, and Sarah and I were just sitting on the porch just like cuddled in our blankets because it was so cold and we were in those skimpy outfits.
I think my best memory would definitely be getting like all fancied up and transforming into my character every night, because I had to get my hair curled, I had to get makeup like all over, like eyeshadow, eyeliner, foundation, had to look perfect, and it was just nice because I wasn't me, I was someone else, and that was really interesting, out-of-body experience.
My favorite memory during Clue was probably the scene where the cop walks into the study and we're all, trying to act like there weren't 3 murders and that there aren't 3 bodies in the study. And I remember, we got Ian, Professor Plum sitting on the couch, and we have drunk Tommy over in the corner, and me just playing random notes on the piano. That was a good memory.
My favorite memory. The scene when we were all in here and I was getting dragged. I'd just been hit with the lead pipe, and I had blood all over me, and I was and everyone was standing around the body pulling me. Everyone was having a fun time and laughing. It took a few takes, but it was still pretty fun.
My favorite memory during Clue filming was when we were practicing the scene where my character, the singing telegram, was shot and fell to the ground. So there I was, laying outside on the step, and I was completely still, pretending to be dead still. And the UPS guy pulls up, and there I was alone, and he thought I was actually hurt, and comes over and tries to give me CPR and starts freaking out. And this all happened in the first hour of my experience at Clue filming. It was so funny, everyone was laughing, including Tommy.
My best memory of filming Clue was probably the night that we were filming one of the flashbacks for one of the alternate endings. And we were pretty laid back doing it, and we weren't really in a rush. And we had to redo the scene 30 times because we kept laughing. And even though it was kind of just not very professional, it still turned out really great. So we had a good time.
My best memory of filming Clue was the last night of filming, when it was about 1 in the morning and Emily and I had just finished up filming the scene when Miss Scarlet and Colonel Mustard are searching the house for the dead body, and we were the last ones to leave. It was really nice to be finished after all the hard work and the long drives and the late nights.
My best memory was probably being at Hereford Middle School filming the school scenes with a group of 20 or 30 other actors my age. but I thought it was really cool that I was the main focus of the scene.
Hi, my name is Ellen Young, and I play Margaret Blackbird in one of the alternate endings of Tommy Flynn's Clue. And I am also Tommy Flynn's grandmother. My favorite memory during the actual filming was when not being able to remember my lines very well, and how kind my grandson was to me about that. For example, when I missed a line or a cue, I found that having my glasses on caused that to happen. I found that Tommy and some of the other cast were all very kind to me and didn't pressure me at all about it. So I was grateful for that.
Hi, I'm Hunter Shires. I took pictures for the movie. I took pictures from behind the scenes and during the movie. When Tommy asked me to take pictures for the movie, I was kind of hesitant because I didn't really know that many people there, but I wanted to try something new, and since my best friend Emily Arnold, who plays Scarlett in this film, was there, it made me more comfortable and it made me want to try it. My first night's experience was a little hectic. I didn't bring my camera because I wasn't really the photographer at the moment. I did a little filming for Tommy as he was in the shots that I was taking.
Do I move the camera up at all?
No. It's the shot of just...
And which led to I was his stunt double. And there was a moment where there was a glass breaking incident where the glass was broken right next to me and it was really scary. My favorite part of Clue filming was probably sharing all the memories with all my friends, besides the stressful nights and demanding nights. But in the end, everyone had a great time, and it was really fun.
Filming this movie during the school year was difficult because of, the academic demands, but also because the weekends were when we filmed it. Even though I'd have Sunday completely off, I would spend so much work on Friday when I got home, and Saturday during the day spending, hours and hours just setting up for the movie and, planning shots and, coordinating things with the actors. And it was a strain, even though I really enjoyed it. But the difficult part was that during filming, when we would actually be filming, we couldn't film until it was pitch black at night. And because we were filming it toward the end of the school year, it wouldn't get dark until really late. So we were really limited to when we could film. And that was probably the most stressful part, because people would want to, take breaks and, mess around sometimes when we really didn't have that time if we were going to get everything done. So looking back on that, that was probably one of the biggest mistakes of that time of the year. But we ended up getting it done, and it was something that was completely out of our control. Even though we had control over a lot of things, that was one thing we couldn't change. How has this experience helped me? Actually, the funny thing is, when I finished Narnia, I kind of felt like an old pro by the end, because I had made the movie and it was like, I've done this before, I know what to expect for my next movie, but we had camera issues. The camera that I've been using for a long time, suddenly broke, pretty much, and I had to go and get a new camera. The problem was that the camera I was using towards the end was giving really low quality, grainy footage, which you can even see that in the film, which does take away from it a little. But we ended up getting a new camera and it ended up all working out. But the problem was we had wasted time of filming because of that incident. And there were, it was dark out and we couldn't do anything because the camera didn't work. So that was like something really unexpected that happened and that, I wasn't even prepared for.
Nurse, I have something for you.
Thank you.
This experience helped me because now after being in filming Clue, I feel as though there's like a whole new world of drama, acting open up to me, because this is my first production I've ever been in. And so now I feel as though I can be part of other things, and I think that'd be pretty nice, a pretty nice, cool thing to do.
I told you I didn't do it! Alright, who did it? This experience has influenced me by helping me realize that I still like making movies, so maybe I'll get back doing that at some point.
This experience has helped me to be more comfortable in front of a camera, because in theater I'm in front of an audience, and because I've been in front of an audience so many times, I'm used to that. So being in front of a camera will help me in the future if I do another movie.
This experience has helped me be able to focus more when I'm acting. One of my weaknesses was probably looking at the camera during filming because it was really hard to focus on the scene when there is a camera. And sometimes the camera's in your face and sometimes it's far away and you never know where the camera's going to be positioned. And by the end of the movie, it was no longer one of my weaknesses. It became actually a strength to not look at the camera, so it was easier to focus once the camera wasn't one of my problems.
This experience has helped me because there aren't many times, like as a kid, when you get to work with other people on film, and this was really like an opportunity of a lifetime.
This experiences helped me from doing more, I guess, a realistic type of acting rather than a theater, overly dramatic, stuff like that, yeah.
This experience has helped me a lot, but it's mostly probably helped me with memorization. My character had a lot of lines, but memorization, now, I used to not be so confident with memorization, but now I'm really confident when it comes to memorization. I know how to, sit down, look at the script, and get down to business, manage my time so that I really get these lines. There were a few instances where Tommy would lead me into a room and he'd hand me the script. He'd tell me which lines he wanted me to memorize, and then he'd lock me in the room for, I think the longest was 15 minutes. And I just sat down and I kept going over those lines and saying them out loud, Sometimes I get help from another person, but usually I was on my own, and because sometimes I would be studying lines in a room by myself, I wouldn't be able to participate in break time with the rest of the cast, and I kind of felt left out sometimes, but that's only because I had such a huge responsibility to learn these lines. One specific instance I felt left out was I was sitting in the conservatory alone reading lines, and I kept hearing laughter, and I was just sitting there. And I later found out that it was a dance competition. And I felt pretty left out.
This experience helped me by realizing that not every role you're gonna get is gonna be completely easy or completely suited to you, and you have to work harder to make certain roles come through the way that you want them to.
This experience has helped me because like I said, I've done a lot of theater and plays on stage, but it's so different from being in a movie just because you have to have a lot more patience and you have to redo each take on different angles, and saying the line over and over, it can get kind of hard.
I have in common with my character that I'm very flirtatious.
Excuse me, it's Professor Paul.
Ooh, Professor.
What else I have in common with my character is that she's smarter than she appears to be, and I come across as not too bright, and then you actually look at my grade point average and everything else I do, and you're like, oh wait, she actually has a brain. My differences with my character are she dresses differently than me, she wears a lot tighter clothing, and her makeup is a lot darker than I prefer for myself.
I think one of my similarities with Colonel Mustard is that we both kind of have trouble trusting people, and we're suspicious of our surroundings and the people we're with who we don't necessarily know very well. I think some of our differences are that he's kind of a coward, and he's a thief, he stole stuff, and I think that he's also just not a very nice person. He gets angry really easily, and he's not a fun guy to be around.
Is there anybody else in this house?
No! What I have in common with my character is I am very outgoing, I can be kind of crazy and loud. I get scared very easily, I can be a huge nervous wreck, and sometimes I tend to over-exaggerate. The differences between me and my character are she has way better vocabulary than I do. When I first saw the script, I had no idea what some of the words meant. And she's a lot older than I am, and I probably would never be a teacher. That's not one of the jobs I really want.
I don't think my character and I had many things in common. He was more of a geek and more dramatic than I am.
Well, Yvette is very, I guess you could say, secretive and kind of introverted for different reasons than I am, but we're both like that. But difference, I've never been strangled, and I do not have a French accent or curly hair.
I think that my character and I we're both sarcastic. Wadsworth's sarcasm is more hostile and unfriendly, while mine is friendlier, and I'm just trying to joke around, but his is not.
Trying to find out who killed him, where, and with what.
There's no need to shout.
I am not shouting!
Something that I tried that I did not do during Narnia, I did very small amount during Narnia, especially with the battles, but I did rehearsals, and how I did rehearsals was that in Clue, we planned filmings, and I tell everyone to make all those dates, definite. And if one person couldn't come to them, I wouldn't cancel it. I would make that a rehearsal. So the people would all come. There would be no getting into costume or anything, but it would be a rehearsal. And the thing is, I didn't have actors memorize their lines. We worked a lot here so that they memorized it that way, and we learned them during rehearsal, so it helped during filming. And even though sometimes I felt like the rehearsals were pointless because people would be forgetting lines, it really overall helped because it just made everything go more smoothly when we filmed, because we really filmed so quickly in comparison to Narnia or any other movie. I mean, we just really went right through it, and it ended up being good even though we didn't do too many takes of a lot of the same stuff.
Viewers should know about the Clue movie that it took a lot of work just to do one scene, because you had to get different angles and say things different ways. Even though Sammy and I got the hang of things pretty quickly, we still had to try out different things.
I think viewers should know that Clue took a really long time to film, and it's a lot harder than it looks, and it's not just the actors who are acting, it's also the film editing and production and lights and all that.
I think viewers should know about Clue that even though my character isn't on screen for that long, we spent a lot of time filming my scenes over and over again just to make sure that they were perfect when it premiered.
What viewers should know about Clue is that me personally, I had a lot of scheduling conflicts over the whole course of the filming, and actually one night when we had to film, we had to get someone else to take my place in the film, and even though I wasn't too happy about that, it had to be done.
Something viewers should know. Well, you see all of those killing scenes, and you don't really think about what would happen if someone actually missed and hit somebody. Well, Tommy during the practice actually hit me with the lead pipe, and that left a nasty little bruise, but it's just one of those things that, it didn't end up making it into the film, but it was still a pretty fun thing to laugh about now. Not at the moment, but now it's kind of funny.
I think it'd be really cool if viewers understood that the scene I was in, the hospital scene, was filmed in an actual hospital. It wasn't on some soundstage. And additionally, a cool part would be that I got to play a doctor in the movie, and what I'd actually like to be in the future is a doctor. I sort of made the role more real for me, because I was playing something I hoped to become.
Filming was very, very interesting. You didn't really film things in order, so you didn't always know what was happening before you went in, so that was why there's a lot of rehearsals and stuff involved. And there was one time we were rehearsing, I think I spilled a tray of drinks twice. So that just shows expect the unexpected. I basically ruined and got all wet. I got my costume very wet.
Hi, I'm Lynn Flynn, and I was the set manager for Clue. And I'm also Tommy's mom. I think that viewers should know that Tommy really has stepped into a leadership role with how he handled Clue, that he was the one who casted everyone and then did a conference call to get everybody started and organized who he needed when. He was totally in charge of that, and he would organize that through a Facebook page and tell people which people he needed for which scenes, which weekends. I really had nothing to do with any of that, so that was all a nice surprise how much less he needed me for this movie.
What else viewers should know about Clue is that J. Edgar Hoover, who was played by Connor Moore, was not present during the filming of one of the alternate endings. So I got to take his line, "Alright, who did it?" and say it as my character.
Viewers should know that it was very hard, and I am very grateful for Tommy for doing all this. But scheduling all of our time schedules around and being able to make everything go together, I understand that was very hard, and especially because there were a lot of incidences during filming that were unexpected and unplanned, and I had a migraine one night and I couldn't go on really. In between that, they had to film without me, and I know that was very hard. I was in the hospital for migraines, so I could never really come to the rehearsals, and I couldn't. There was actually one weekend where I couldn't even go to filming, and I know that was difficult because I think there was a big scene that day that I was supposed to do, if I recall correctly. And we had to reschedule that and work around it. And I think we ended up cutting some of that out, actually. But I understand it was very hard, and viewers should think about that when they watch the movie. Just keep that in mind, like, that we had to struggle a lot. And even though not everything was exactly what we expected, we did a really nice job.
Tommy and Mrs. Flynn did a great job, and they worked really hard, and the end product turned out really, really great, and we were all pleased. Tommy has helped me a lot, both with my character and also memorization.
It was a different way of being directed, you could say. I've never really had someone give me different advice on acting, and we got it done very quickly and thought it was good.
He told me how he envisioned the scene and how he wanted me to play it out, how he wanted me to play out his vision. And it all worked out really great.
Tommy spent a lot of time planning each and every filming and exactly how long it would take to film each piece of the movie. Watching Tommy and the cast learn and grow in the duration of this filmmaking experience has been absolutely incredible.
What viewers should know about Clue is how everyone was so welcoming in the cast, and never at any moment did I ever feel left out. A specific instance was when Nigel, who plays Colonel Mustard, was so welcoming to me when I first walked through the door, and he just gave me helpful tips and pointers, and just the whole experience. I was so grateful being part of this cast.
Excuse me, Miss Peacock? Yes. May?
While I was witnessing the scene when Caroline Diaz was playing Cindy and Sammy Paradise was playing Mrs. Peacock, the tripod broke, and that slowed us down a lot. And there was also lots of talking and people around the school where we were filming, so that was also hard, so you can get the quiet in the background.
Another department that took a lot of work and effort from people was props, costumes, and makeup. The props were actually really good in this. All the props were pretty believable, especially the weapons. But I had to pay for pretty much everything like that. And also when it comes to the costumes, half the actors did bring their own costumes, which helped so much. Also, makeup ended up being really good because with Narnia, we didn't have a makeup artist, but now we did. Emily Arnold, she goes to Carver for acting, but she's also really talented with production, and she does makeup. And she offered to do that, and I was like, great, because I need someone to do makeup, because, my sister tried it for Narnia, I even tried it, and we both were not very good. So when Emily agreed to do it, it was great. And even though it took a long time, and I know she was like, she felt a lot of pressure while she was doing it, it ended up being really good, and I can't imagine, the movie would be so different if the people, because they looked like kids. The only thing that I had to wear was the eyebrows. They looked fake in real life, but on the film they looked pretty good. But I would try doing it myself, and then Emily would fix them, or she'd do them and I'd fix them, and it was just, we'd have to spend that extra time just doing the eyebrows, which was interesting to say the least.
I think for Tommy's next movie, he should do an adventure one. If he remakes it or if he writes his own, I think it would be really cool to make an adventure movie.
I think for Tommy's next film, he should do the musical movie Rocky Horror Picture Show, because it's filmed in a house similar to this, so he could potentially do it, and it's a very fun musical movie.
I think what Tommy should do for his next film would be like bringing a classic Disney movie to life. I thought about maybe Robin Hood, or you could go along the action genre and do something like Three Musketeers, something along those lines would be really cool.
I think Tommy should do like a horror movie type, like Paranormal Activity type movie. I think his house is really eerie, and I think it would be good for that type of movie.
Well, I think for his next movie, it would be wonderful for Tommy to do something like a classic. Let's say Rebecca of Sunnybrook Farm, or one of the romantic films of the 50s or early 60s, An Affair to Remember.
I think Tommy, for his next movie, he should write his own movie because he's really creative, and I think he should do something that's like the complete opposite of Clue.
For Tommy's next movie, he should do a romantic tragedy, such as The Titanic. Because even though that'd be really hard to film, it would be so awesome to see how he planned it out and see how he set up the dynamics.
I think Tommy's next film should be something along the lines of Footloose, Say Anything, 16 Candles, all of those classic comedies, anything with like Molly Ringwald or Anthony Michael Hall.
Tommy, for his next movie, should definitely do a futuristic Downton Abbey.
I think for Tommy's next movie, he should do a fantasy movie or something like Alice in Wonderland, because it would be really fun to make and also be really challenging, so that he could challenge himself for his next movie.
I would like to see him do a version of The Hunger Games because it's like action, tinge romance, just awesome film in general.
I think for Tommy's next movie, he should do a musical, such as Wicked, and Wicked is actually a very possible option because unlike The Wizard of Oz, it is more realistic and less of a fantasy.
For Tommy's next movie, I think he should do The Haunted Mansion, which is a comedic horror movie about a real estate owner who buys this haunted mansion. And there's some mystery in it, there's some horror, and there's a lot of funny parts, but I think that this house would be really good for that movie. Either that, or we should do a real-time Scooby-Doo movie. Either of these movies would be really great.
I think Tommy, for his next movie, I've always had a soft spot for Field of Dreams. I think that's a great movie.
I think that for his next movie, Tommy should do a rendition of Doctor Who. You know, it's a TV show, and I think that maybe if Tommy should maybe also be looking at doing TV shows instead of only doing movies.
I think for Tommy's next movie, he should actually do something different, maybe a documentary about somebody's life that's inspiring to him or that has made a difference in the world. I think he should do a documentary just to do something different, since he's already done a couple full-length, really involved movies. I think a documentary would be a nice change and a really good experience for Tommy.
Making movies is one of my favorite things to do. And I just feel so honored to be able to work with all these talented people to make this awesome production. And I can't wait to see what next year's is going to be, because I think it will even be better and continue to improve. So I just want to thank everyone who was involved with the production, because they did an amazing job, and it was just so fantastic to see the final product. Once again, thank you to everyone for making this such a great experience for me and for everyone else.
Someone shot at Mr. Body and missed. He was most certainly not dead, sir.
With a candlestick. Don't touch me. I kill you. Ah! Oh, I tripped.
Stop.
We have just the new eyeline.
Right.
Yeah, okay.
You know what I like to do is take a bunch of lemons and coat them in petroleum. And what I like to do is I just like to just make a giant slip and slide.
The business is off.
I'll see you in court.
I'll see you. Lemons.
Okay, the fez is off. The fez is off.
Tick, tick, tick,
Tick, tick, ting.
tick, 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 tick.
Tick 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 ting. 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 Tick 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 ting.